In today's video, I decided to do something a little bit different. I thought it'd be fun to film a video about 29 things I've learned in 29 years. I started to make a list of the things that I felt were important to share about, and my list just kept growing, and I was gonna sort through and pick ones that I felt were the most important and stick to 29 things. And I just decided tonight that I don't even know how many I have, but I'm just gonna share all of them because I think we can never have too much wisdom. There's always something to learn, and I found that even in my own life. I still have lots to learn, but I have also learned a lot, and some of these are through my own experiences, and some of them are just from observing other people and just watching on how people live their lives. I don't always think that we individually have to learn everything the hard way. I think if we just pay attention and we watch our surroundings and behaviors and different things like that, we can learn a lot through other people too. I haven't practiced this or rehearsed this. It's literally just an accumulation of things the last few weeks, but I'm just gonna get right into it. Number one thing I've learned is that if something steals your peace, it is not worth it. It is not worth it, not even a little bit. But it's just kind of like, you could be in a job situation, you could be dating someone, you could be in a certain living situation. If it is stealing your peace and you do not feel good while you're there, it is not worth it. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care how much someone just tries to coax you into staying with them. I don't care how much money you could be saving in a certain situation. I just really encourage the person to get themselves out of the situation and just believe and trust that God would provide for them and help them in whatever way that they need. Because every time I have done that in my personal life, or I've just been put in a situation where I'm like, why don't I feel good about this? And I've just listened to that feeling and was like, you know what, God, I just trust that you'll give me something else if I decide to remove myself from this. He has, and I have just felt so much better because of that. Your peace is too expensive. Do not put a price tag on it. If you don't have it, leave. Second one is to trust your gut. Trust your gut. Trust your discernment. Trust the Holy Spirit inside of you, especially if you are saved and you've given your life to the Lord. Like, there are times where I will literally walk into a room, I'll meet someone for the first time, I'll just be in an environment and I just sense things about people. I sense things about situations, and I'm just like, why don't I like that? Why do I think this person has ill intentions with me? And I have just learned to not doubt that feeling. You have that feeling for a reason. That is literally the Holy Spirit inside of you. And to not only not question it, but then to act on it, immediately, as soon as you can. And you may not always have the answer as to why you feel like that. A lot of times I found that God does reveal to me why I feel on edge about something, but just don't hesitate to do something about it. Because again, every time I've done that in my life, and it could be someone I don't even know, I literally know nothing about them. I've had literally these examples in my life where I'm just like, why do I feel unsafe right now? Why don't I feel good about this? And I'll listen to that, I'll trust myself, and just be like, okay, so I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna call someone. I'm not gonna hang around this person. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna report this, whatever it is. Do it. And it's just such a better situation when you just don't engage in the crappy feelings. So there's that one. Next one is how important community is. Yeah, I am more of the type where I just isolate myself, I'm very independent. I do a lot of things on my own, which I don't think is all bad, obviously. And I like that part of me. A lot of times I'm totally fine with it and I'm actually content. Sometimes I'll be sitting by myself at church, and people would be like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What's wrong? You sit by yourself. And I'm like, I know, that's because I want to. And I'm totally an okay whole human being because I want to sit by myself. Holy cow. But other times I have learned that I and other people do genuinely need community, and just how beneficial that can be for your mental health, your spiritual growth, just all the things. Even if it's just one or two people I just believe that's really beneficial to a human, just to have even those one or two people to be able to confide in and ask for prayer and to share the really low moments with, and also share the really high moments with, obviously, as well. I wrote abusive behaviors ? But I don't know, I just have such a heart for young women, obviously, because I am a woman. I will like pick up on a little boy. I'm calling him a little boy because a man does not act like this. A little boy's abusive behaviors. And not that I want people to ever experience that or have to like super study it or whatever, but if someone is trying to gaslight you, if someone is manipulative to you, if someone is verbally abusive to you, physically abusive to you, I just want to remind people of their worth and how valuable they are to God and their family and their friends, like whoever else, and just to not settle. Like, don't put up with it. Like, sometimes I know people don't want to leave the abuser. A lot of times they're just like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad, he doesn't have anyone, blah, blah, blah. He or she is a grown man or woman, and if they have issues, that is something that they need to deal with professionally, more than likely, if it's legitimate abuse. And a lot of times that can feel really confusing to someone, so just know that you are not doing anything wrong by leaving the situation, and it's not even loving someone by enabling crappy behavior. Loving someone is being honest with someone, and then yeah, maybe pointing them in the right direction, but that doesn't mean that you have to continue on that journey with them if you are constantly going to be put in the line of fire. Yeah, I just want people to be aware of that, not settle, period. Okay, I wrote there's some sucky people in the world, but don't let that make you bitter. I think everyone is gonna have experiences in their life where they're just like, wow, you suck, holy. Sometimes it's honestly kind of funny to me because I'm like, are you the villain in a comic book or something? I don't even understand how you can behave like this and feel no remorse, feel no guilt, feel whatever. Maybe you do, but you just don't care because you keep doing it. So you're gonna have sucky people, sucky things that happen to you, but just don't let that change who you are. If you are a good person, continue to be a good person, and just don't let their actions make you bitter. Next one, I said, it's your actions speak louder than your words. And like, people can tell me till they're blue in the face that like XYZ they think about me, but your actions tell me so much more. And if your actions are lacking and are not lining up with your words, then your words are empty and your actions show how you really care. So that's just pertains to so many different things in your life. But yeah, if you're just in a situation where you feel confused by someone's feelings about something towards you, or doesn't have to even be like romantic, just anything, watch their actions, because they will tell you what they think and how they feel by what they're either doing or not doing. Okay, next one is I wrote, you can change the next day. So sometimes I think, especially people with just crazy past, maybe you've done some things in the world. One, you are forgiven, covered with the blood of Jesus. Second of all, that doesn't mean that you can't change. I hear it all the time, even people that are like 50, they're like, well, I'm 50, so my life is basically over, probably gonna keel over tomorrow, so like, why would I ever help myself? Why would I ever get better? I'm just like, you can be different. You can make choices no matter what age you are to help yourself and just be a better person. You don't have to be the person you were yesterday. You don't have to be the person you are right now, sitting, watching this video. You can finish this video. You can decide 2 seconds from now, nope, I don't want to do this, that, whatever. And you can change and you can help yourself. Next one, I said, don't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with. I personally, obviously, like, my faith is very important to me, so I'm probably not gonna go to like a full-blown Satan worshiper or something, like, so what do you think of this idea? Because obviously our morals don't align, we're a little different, worship a little different things, you know, like that's a really extreme example, but you get what I'm saying. If you don't want to be in that person's shoes, you don't want to do things that that person has done, I just don't super value your advice, because that's not who I want to be, that's not what I want to do. And I think that would go for anyone. So just don't take advice from someone you wouldn't want to trade places with. The next one I wrote, some people just rock. So some people are just freaking awesome people. And when you meet those people, don't take that for granted. And I would friend those people. I know I have. Next one, I wrote, Jesus always protects in every way possible. Just know that you are never alone. And if you're going through something just hard or weird, Jesus will protect you. Trust me. He has many times in my life where I'm like, wow, I am lucky to be alive right now. Thank you, Jesus, for literally saving me in some situations. I wrote, Jesus always provides. He always provides, whether it's financially or, yeah, whatever way. He always provides. Next thing I wrote was do your research. Yeah, sometimes people I feel like will just like make decisions super hastily, whatever word that is, and kind of irrationally. And yeah, they just don't ever do their research on what is probably best. And I know it's a lot more work and it's not always really fun, but every time I feel like I've done my research about something where it's like, I just want to be lazy and not actually do the research. But every time I've done that, I feel like God has honored me and provided me the best deal, the best situation. And I think it's literally just because I took the time to do my research. So there's that. Next one I wrote is space from people is good. There are also times in life where maybe you've just really been hurt from someone or something, or you're feeling really confused, you need clarity about something. It is not a bad thing to take space. In fact, it is a very healthy thing to take space from people. And I know every time I've had to do that in my life, or I'm just, even when I've had friendships in the past, just they get really, some people have gotten really clingy to me and just like really overbearing, and I'm not a clingy person. Like, I almost wish I was more sometimes. So it's like when people do that to me, it just, depending on the person, can feel really overwhelming. So when I have stated that I needed space from people either responded really well and understood and gave me my space, and you know what, those people I kept in my life and now I have really healthy relationships with, or the people get really offended and get mad and don't understand, act really passive aggressive. That tells you a lot about a person. And if someone acts like that, then take all the space in the entire world, the rest of your life in this world, if you like, and don't feel bad about it, because that is your need. And if you need that, you state that, and a person can either respect that or not. So, you know, whatever. The next one's kind of going with this. I said boundaries are a necessity. So sometimes it's like family things or friends things or relationship thing, or even at the workplace. If I sense that someone is crossing a line, whether it's my work life or other things, and I don't feel good about it, I will set up a boundary. I will tell them, I will remove them, I will do whatever, and it just kind of is what it is. And again, people are just like, I could never do that, I feel so bad. Like, that's not a bad thing. That's a self-respect thing. And respect yourself enough, love yourself enough to know what your limits are. And once someone crosses that, to tell them, set up that boundary. And I know you're just gonna feel better anyway. And that's the goal. Dude, so much crap for this. I said astrology is crap. I'm not gonna get into that right now. I'll probably get a lot of backlash for that, but I will go to people's bios on their Instagram and they're like, I'm a Sag, I'm a Taurus. That says nothing about your identity. I don't care what the stars say. God is the one who created the stars. Therefore, he is more powerful over the stars and have more things to say about you. And a lot of times people think that it helps them understand themselves more and just like fully embody like who they are. And actually it limits your understanding of yourself, because it puts yourself in a box, in this like weird, this month to date box that doesn't even make sense, and I'm pretty sure has changed in the last year. So like everyone's just having an identity crisis because their astrology sign changed. I will literally hear people be like, I don't date him because he's a Libra, or he's a Gemini, or I'm just like, yo, like, don't waste your time on that. So very passionate about that. But anyway, that's a random one. Next one I wrote, look good, feel good equals my life motto. with wanting to look good, to go to the gym, to take care of yourself, to shower on the daily, to do your hair, to put on some makeup, to wear some nice cologne or some perfume. I'm all about the smells. So like whatever it is, you're gonna feel better if you look good, feel good kind of thing. So there's that. So you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. Don't change for those people. So that's just like very to the point. I know I will meet people and sometimes they're like, wow, like you're so yourself, or you're so funny, or you're so I don't even know, I feel weird like saying these things about myself, but just people really admire me and I can tell really like me and really speak that into me and like whatever, and I'm their cup of tea. And then other times people are like, whoa, you're so weird. Like why do you have pink hair? Like why do you do this? Like wow, like you're just whatever their opinion is. And like I love you, but I don't really care, and like I'm not going to change who I am for that person. I just really encourage you not to as well, because I think about it, I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but I'm like 7 billion plus people in this world, not a single person is the same. Like God is so creative that he made every single person like a little bit different, like a little bit different personality, a little bit different aesthetic look, a little bit different heart, a little bit whatever. And I'm like, it's such a waste when you just cover that up and you don't actually live your truth. And it's so sad. I think there's people that are like, literally when I meet people sometimes, I can just see it in them and I'm like, you're the coolest freaking person in the entire world, but you're like shadowing yourself. You're like dimming yourself down for people because maybe someone has spoke something over you that was rude or mean or negative, or maybe you just don't feel really confident to be yourself, or whatever the case is. I just feel like the world is missing out on people's true authenticity sometimes. And so if someone doesn't have something nice to say about you, doesn't like you, you aren't their cup of tea, quote unquote. I know that can be hard for a lot of people because it's like people just want people to like them. Like who doesn't? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And just do your best to be the best and most real version of who you are, and you are going to shine super freaking bright for the people that are meant to be in your life, and you're going to live your best life because of that as well. Okay, next one. So pick your battles. You don't always have to do the hard thing. So again, if you're anything like me, I'm just like, gotta do the hard thing all the time, gotta do the most integral thing, gotta just like have all the weird awkward conversations with everyone, gotta just hard. And I've learned that a lot of times I will choose that just because I feel like it is the most integral thing. But then other times where I'm like, I don't have it. Like this is super stressing me out. I don't know how I feel about this. Like I'm really on edge about it. And I've just learned that you can pick your battles. You don't always have to do the most difficult thing. God will still love you. That person may or may not like you. Not a big deal. Just like have some grace for yourself and just be kind to yourself. And yeah, just pick your battles. You know, some are worth fighting, others are not. So the only way you'll ever fill that gap or emptiness inside of you is through Jesus. It's pretty point blank. Next one I said is never exchange your integrity for clout. So I feel like so many people, not obviously everyone, but a lot of people just, you know, want people to think very highly of them and like be super popular and like really famous and like, oh my gosh, like everyone just love me. And so sometimes like, or I guess I'll just start making up all these lies to work my way to the top, or I guess I'll just do X, whatever thing it is. And if that's who you are, that's how you want to live your life, fine. Like you're not exchanging your integrity for that. But if that isn't who you are, whatever example it is, and you have certain standards that you want to hold yourself to and live by, do not exchange that for someone or something to like you. It is not worth it. Bye-bye to that person. See you never. Next one I said, if they gossip about other people, they gossip about other people to you, they'll gossip about you. Don't tell that person your secrets. Yeah, it's so, like if you think about this, a lot of these are very common sense. I'm sure many of you maybe have thought learned many of these on your own already, or maybe you're just I'm getting your wheels rolling for the first time. But I remember I used to work at a job where this girl would literally talk about everyone behind their back, or with like the door open and the person literally standing around the corner, and I always felt so awkward because I was like, okay, first of all, do you think that I'm actually that dumb and that I'm gonna start sharing with you all my personal details? If you feel okay just literally sharing all that person's personal details that person probably didn't want me to know, but like, I don't really care, I'm not gonna go tell anyone, but I just think about that, and I'm like, if you're picking up on that and someone's just trying to like woo you and just, you're so cool, like let me just share all this tea on Faith or George or whoever it is, do not take that bait. Do not fall for that. That person is fake and they don't care about your well-being, because the second you share these details of your life, they're gonna go tell everyone they want. So don't share that. Don't share secrets with that person. Next one I wrote, surround yourself with good people. They say you are the 5 people that are closest to you. So that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're just hanging out with a bunch of drug dealers and like thieves and criminals, I don't even know where you meet those people. They're all over. Whoever you're hanging out with, you're probably just gonna slowly morph more and more into. So I just encourage you to pick some good people and live your life with those people. Okay, I don't remember writing this one. I wrote, sometimes people feel entitled to the issues of your life. You share what you want to share. Everything is not for everybody. I've noticed this too. I'll like meet someone for the first time and I can just tell they have a certain personality and fine, cool, but they will feel entitled to like who I am and my life story and my experiences I've had in life and like things I've lived through. And I'm just like, you aren't entitled to those details, and you are more than likely never gonna know those things about me unless you're like 2 of my closest friends and maybe my future husband someday. But like, there are many things that I am not going to share with the average person, that I do not share with the average person, because I don't want to, and that is something that not everyone needs to know. So I just want to remind people as well, if you're put in a situation where you just feel uncomfortable, because I've literally had people tell me that too, where they're like, they just got it out of me, they just kept asking questions and I didn't feel good about it, I didn't want to. I'm like, you can literally walk away if you want to. You want to be that just like cutthroat about it, or you can just be like, I don't feel comfortable, or I don't want to share, or just not answer the question. Everyone doesn't need to know everything about you unless you want to share it. Then go right ahead. Everyone has different comfort levels of sharing things in their life, but if you don't want to share, don't. All right. Next one I wrote is pain heals. You're not going to be in pain forever. So whether that is like a depression, sadness, anxiety, physical pain, whatever it is, I know when you're in those moments in your life, it can just feel like it's never gonna end, and that it'll always be like that, and life will always be really hard and all the things. I'm sure, honestly, a lot of people probably feel like that right now, but just know that it will not be forever. God is sovereign over this world. He is not surprised by this. He's not surprised by anything you individually are going through right now, and I know that He wants to help you, and with time, things will get better. So just remember that. Just hang on. Like, if you have to journal, if you have to share, if you have to sit and pray or listen to like encouraging messages or music or whatever, things will get better. Just keep fighting. This one I wrote is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. So I was honestly thinking more so in a relationship, like friendship standpoint with this one. Obviously it's flipped both ways, but again, I am a woman, so I think about it from my girls and just things I've seen in really crappy relationships. And the girl would just be like, well, I mean, he like said this or he did this, but he didn't mean it, or like he was just having a bad day, or like, I don't know, like this thing happened in his life. And yes, those are contributing factors obviously to someone's behavior, but if they show you that about them, believe them. Do not try to brush it under the rug. Do not try to change them. don't even waste your time on that person, because you know what? We've all gone through things in our life. Some, yes, maybe a little bit more intense or traumatic than others. But even in my life, things that I have experienced, I do not turn around and take that out on someone else. I don't treat someone like garbage because I may be having a bad day or like something really bad happened in my life. Like, I always try to rise above it. That doesn't mean I'm perfect, but when you see behaviors in people, don't make excuses for them. Just believe it and do your best to just keep moving forward. Next one I wrote is be your biggest fan / biggest encourager. You may not always have a big support system, or maybe you don't have anyone you can talk to. And so sometimes you just have to learn how to be your biggest fan and be your biggest encourager, and just really rally yourself up kind of, and just make yourself feel good, remind yourself of your strengths, whatever else is special about you in your own ways, and just, yeah, be your biggest fan. So this is a very long video. I'm probably gonna post this whole thing. I hope that you enjoyed my however many things that was about things I've learned in the last few years, and you should comment down below something you learned. I'd love to learn from other people. I think that's one of the coolest things about life, is just learning. I know that sounds so nerdy, but I whatever. I just like learning, and I think these are valuable lessons to learn. And sometimes I just forget about things that I've learned, and then some girl will like talk to me, or even some guy will talk to me and share with me something that they're going through that's really hard, and I'm just like, well, dang, I've like lived all of that, gone through this, and this is what I've learned. And you can give them advice that actually really helps them, or helps them avoid certain toxic or bad situations. So just never feel held back to use your voice and to encourage people, and just really uplift each other in this world. I hope you guys learned something, enjoyed this video, and that you all have a really great day. I will talk to you soon.